Nashville, Tennessee. Music City. That's right. Your boy Izzy Presley will be there. Rockin' Pod Expo. August 6th through the 8th. Will I be alone? You just have to wait and see. Because I may either bring the Mississippi Queen. I may bring the face of Metal Edge Magazine, or maybe even the voice of God himself. You just gotta come and see. Yes, I will be there, but don't forget, there will be rare hair. There will be my little brother, Ace Von Johnson. There will be the brothers and the Talisman. There will be people that have had this strap long before me, even though I bought it out of a box of gimmicks. The great Matt Pinfield, the great Mark Goodman, and yes, even the almighty Ricky Rackman. So what I'm telling you people, out there in internet land, run, do not walk to your ticket office and get your candy ass, cretinous humanoid butts down to Nashville, Tennessee, baby, Music City, for the Rockin' Pod Expo. You know I'm traveling in style, baby. I'm Izzy Presley, and he approved this message.
Hi, this is Bobby Brown, and welcome to another fucking podcast.
You kids with your loud music and your Dan Fogelberg, your Zima, hula hoops, and Pac-Man video games, don't you see? People today have attention spans that can only be measured in nanoseconds.
See, son, old legends never die. They just lose weight.
Like a legend and an outerworld bum with a lot of light.
Hello, you crazy dick fucker!
Party time!
Hello, Hollywood. Hello, world. And hello, my loyal minions. It is good to see you, and it's always good to be seen. My name is Izzy Presley, and this is Metal Edge Magazine's another effing podcast. Good morning, good night, good afternoon, whatever it is. Hello. Got a great show for you tonight. We've got Michael Sweet returning from STRYPER. He was just on a couple weeks ago. He just missed us so much. And a man who I have gained even more respect for over the past couple of years. One, because he got to play Ric Flair's daughter's wedding.
No.
That's true.
Not me.
And he has a love of vintage grocery getters, vintage station wagons, I found out. And props on that. Props on that. Tracii, I was really bummed though because it did not have fake wood.
No, that if you want to get a mint station wagon from the 70s with that fake wood that's still intact, you're going to be looking a long time. I did find some, but they weren't in perfect condition. So I went with the gigantic ass, Pontiac.
It was beautiful.
Nice.
It was sitting up front of Ace's house, saving the spot before he bounced. I'm like, he's like, yeah, this is Tracey's. He loves these. I'm like, I love these. These are great. Freaking
Actually, my wife she is obsessed with big 70s cars, Danish. So, she's just like, oh my God, you guys had these giant airplanes without
so great. And of course, with me as always, from Metal Edge Magazine, Paul Gargano. Good day, eh?
Hello.
Oh, Paul,
hello.
Wait,
Paul,
Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Paul, how do you get that perfect gray line? If I got that, I would never dye my beard.
It was so funny. I have no gray in my hair, but I've got gray right here and gray, the perfect line right there.
It looks so cool.
We're only in our 20s and we got gray already, but we'll deal with it, Tracii.
Man, I look like Hebrew claws, like Rabbi claws. If I don't dye my hair, it's just like, hi.
Yeah, it's so crazy. I have like little Mark Ferrari stripes like there and there, but
That's
other
cool,
than that,
dude. I like it. It's like
you
little.
and you couldn't, now that I'm growing it out, like COVID grow my hair out. You can barely even tell that it's just here, but yeah,
Very distinguished.
Right?
Yeah,
Right?
that's what I go for.
You
Distinguished.
look smarter than you are.
Yes.
Well, come on. That's like being the tallest midget in the room. Come on.
Paul, I do have news. I was waiting to tell you this on the air. If this comes through this evening, I will be your new boss.
Whoa.
Just letting you know.
What is that?
This is a lottery ticket.
Oh, lottery ticket. Gotcha.
Yes.
Nice.
All right.
I will be the new owner of Metal Edge
So-
magazine.
Blessings to you, my friend.
But you know what? You still got to buy it from me. So
Yes, exactly. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't give you, Tracii, I did not give you the proper introduction from LA Guns, Tracii Guns. Yay. Wow, we are.
with no disrespect to Michael Sweet, who I am still giddy over the fact that I finally got to interview him for the first time in God knows how long. Tracii is hands down. Everybody always asks me this when I do podcasts, like as a guest. Who's your favorite interview? I go, Tracii Guns. Tracii is like literally my favorite. Like in all the years of Metal Edge, I have more fond memories of Tracii.
Well,
and just
yeah, but when we would interview, that meant we were traveling for a week.
and it usually meant our livers did not like us.
You guys were actually hanging. You were hanging together.
Oh my God. I would follow him around with a bag.
Oh man. Nice.
Yeah, we had
Yeah.
the best times of my career I had with Paul Gargano.
So it's
Absolutely.
for God rest his soul, Jerry Miller would be, I don't understand why all the bands want to talk to you, not me. because I could drink you under the table, Jerry. I'll pick up bar tabs.
I will say I never had to put Jerry Miller in a bunk on a tour bus. But Paul Gargano, yes.
But this guy.
Which reminds me, which reminds me, in the words of the great Don Jameson, to hell with our livers.
I was about
What
to
the
say
hell?
the late Don
Dude,
Jameson.
you're still in Stryper's lines, man.
Blame Don Jameson for that. I didn't do it.
I mean, Don's a comedian, so he's always
hell
stealing
with the
somebody's
liver.
lines. To hell with your liver. Oh, by the way, that's why I don't sing. Right there is why I don't sing.
Nice.
Tracii
Look at
Guns.
those. Look at that. Look at
It's
that.
just sitting here. I don't even know where this came from. Ooh.
Oh, yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Tracii, by the way, congratulations on finally getting your name back.
Yeah, that's great,
Yes.
man.
Yeah.
We're allowed to call you Tracii again?
No, I got what it means is I got my name back. Irving Schmolowitz.
L.A. Schmolowitz.
Yeah, L.A. Schmolowitz. You know,
The new single from L.A. Schmolowitz, Ballad of James.
no, wait. No, it's Irving's L.A. Guns.
Dude, you know what? That blows my mind how all these bands have, there's multiple versions of all these bands. And sadly, I guess anyone could go and start. If you're a former member of, you can go and start a different version of that band. That's kind of scary. It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really fucking scary.
It's
Crazy.
Well, and here's the worst part about it, being on like the management side of it now. My wife runs a booking agency. I got the management company. Like, we see it all the time. So many of her artists, they can't even say they're a former member of anymore. It's like, it's just so crazy. And it is so important to make sure you have your trademarks and copyrights and everything. And it's important, unless you trust your manager immensely, double check their flipping work. Because when you at that young stage in your career, when you're making actual money because the record labels are giving you money, you're not paying attention to the fact that somebody didn't file paperwork and the bartender at the last night's show actually owns your copyright.
No, it's true.
That's insane.
It's true.
When we were coming up, I asked somebody like David Cotico or somebody that was our attorney, and I said, hey, should I copyright the name or trademark the name? He goes, you're Tracii Guns. You're never going to have an issue. Famous last words. And he's a legit guy. you know?
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
you know, the problem with me is like, you know, I'm like the guy that shows up at the party handing out Pez. Oh, you want this? I don't have it for. I'll go to the store for you and buy you Pez because I'm an idiot. I'm nice. And I just say yes all the time, you know?
Yeah.
So Tracii, going by his theory, that means that maybe I might have a case against the band Sweet. I might be able to sue them.
See?
Yeah.
See?
Ah,
And
There you
going
go.
by that theory, I think Tracii has a case against Guns N' Roses.
Ooh.
No, let's not go there. Come on.
hold
Hey,
on.
we
Oh,
trademarked.
by the way, dear Blabbermouth, that was a joke.
Yes, dear Blabbermouth. No,
Well,
here's the thing. The thing with the Guns N' Roses thing is like, you know, my name is half of Guns N' Roses, right? Do you know how much I would pay for that? like hey, that band, look, I'll give you $1 million. Just use my name.
Yeah.
You know, that's the greatest thing ever.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
and it's funny because when I bought Appetite for Destruction, when I bought that record, the sales pitch that the dude at the mall record store gave me to get me to buy that record was that it was Tracii Guns' band before
See?
Slash was
See?
in it, and that's why it's Guns N' Roses. And if you like LA Guns, and I went, well, all right, I'll buy that record.
Wow.
Literally, I bought that
Interesting.
Guns N' Roses record because of your name. So
Hey, I can't say when I was doing that show in Las Vegas, Raiding the Rock Vault, and we had to do a meet and greet, and you know the promotion that they did for that show was really cheesy. It's like, you know, Tracii Guns from Guns N' Roses and LA Guns, and you know this other guy from Badfinger, you know, and like it's like really, you know. So I would be at the meet and greet after the show, you know, 200 nights a year, and people, hey, I saw you at the Riot in St. Louis. Oh yeah, man, I seen you guys open for Aerosmith. I go, I wasn't there. Oh no, I saw you. I saw. You know, it's just like, you know, the Guns N' Roses thing for me, it never ends. It never ends. It's unbelievable.
it would be like me saying I'm Paul Gargano from Rolling Stone magazine because they published 3 of my photos.
That's right.
That's
right.
I mean, Rolling Stone magazine. Yeah,
You
Tracii-
are Rolling Stone magazine.
Yeah.
I am Rolling Stone magazine. It's my name. My stones are the stone they're referring to that rolls. Yeah.
Well, hey, let me go on record here and hold my hand up that we own the trademark for the name STRYPER. Yes. So
Okay.
hopefully, you know, that's worth
Yep.
it. Wait.
Yeah, but apparently,
But here's the thing: can
Sunbomb
you
from somebody else.
Well, hey, you know what I've always heard though, whether this is true or not, but speaking to a number of attorneys in the business and stuff, I think it's whoever releases an album first. So, but that other band, Sunbomb, released an album. So you know, but the thing is, it's always it's pretty much Frontier's baby, right? Yours and Frontiers.
Frontier.
So they'll have to
Jason's
deal,
like, no,
they'll have to
honey.
deal with it, pretty much. That's what I'm trying to
Because
say.
I
In a
dropped the
roundabout
baby
way.
off outside the fire department. This is on Frontiers.
That's right. Oh,
Well,
But
Tracii,
what-
Tracii,
you'll
hold on.
Find,
Okay.
Wait, we got to finish this line of thought
Yeah,
for
yeah.
a second because it's interesting. There's enough lawyers out there where you can find a lawyer that will tell you anything. Like ultimately, if they're willing to take the case, because half out there they know they're wrong, but if they can get a settlement, they get something just to make the case go away.
True.
However, it's an issue of filing the copyright, but it's also doing something with the copyright. So somebody could have
right.
put that album out first and then not done anything for a decade, and then you put your album out. You actually have more of a right to it because they were inactive for a decade.
I found that out. Yes, I did find that out during our.
And not letting the copyright expire, which a lot of people do, and they
Yes.
don't realize it. The name STRYPER was actually expired, and I went online and I saw that, and I took care of it and paid the fee and secured it. But man, it could have been anybody's trademark. Even and we
Yeah.
could we would have had to
you would
sue
get
them.
it. You would get it back, and that's
Yeah.
the thing. Like you would get it back. When we went through the stuff with Metal Edge, when we bought Metal Edge, there were a couple dangling ones out there, and it was just like, come on, dude, you don't have a right to this. And as soon as you get a lawyer, everything gets released.
Right.
But it's still, someone's got to be willing to pay the lawyer.
Yeah.
And that's where the problem comes in.
Yep.
Hey, I hate
Now,
the
but
fucking business. Anyways, I hate it.
oh yeah, but
I like the
Michael,
money.
Can,
The money's
Michael,
good.
can you start your own Boston?
Well,
I did. I already did.
You did.
Yeah.
You already did. Okay.
We're coming out with an album. It's called Boston, and no.
Well, I was gonna,
I would not go near that with a 10-foot pole, man.
right.
I don't think anybody would. I mean, that'd be pretty
Yeah.
crazy.
Oh no. This is, yeah.
well, I was
Your band would be called Revere. Just a band out of Revere.
just a band out of east of Worcester. What the
Yeah. He's a Worcester.
Tracii, I was gonna say, since you were like technically in Faster Pussycat for a little bit, you could have your own Faster Pussycat, so you could have a name of all three of the trifecta of LA Sleaze: Guns N' Roses, LA Guns, and Tracii Guns, Faster Pussycat.
Right?
Wow.
You know what the difference is? I'm not an asshole.
Yes, exactly.
That's the difference.
Well, you know what? Here's the thing, too. All the bands that we all know, where there's two and sometimes three versions of, the main version is obviously the one that most people want to see, right?
Right.
And the one that carries the clout. Why would you want to, try to compete against that for half the guarantees and go up that huge hill and face that huge battle?
I'll tell you exactly why. Because I've been involved with lawsuits over this very thing. Because you make half the money that you would normally make if you are that band, and you make an eighth of the money you would make if you try to be in a band with a completely different name with no name recognition whatsoever.
Sure.
And that's the reason why. If you could make
So at that point, so wait a minute. So at that point, if your name has zero value as an artist, right?
Wow.
Where you got to use something that you were attached to, like, just outright use it.
Yeah.
Maybe it's time to get a different job.
You said something very, very.
Or maybe it's time to do some work on your own and develop your name so that your brand is worth something more. Like, for example, DJ Ashba is worth something as DJ Ashba because love him or hate him, he has devoted time to making sure that whether he's in a band with Nikki Sixx or a band with Axl Rose, his name itself has brand recognition and value. He put that time in. That's the other thing.
I'll tell you, man, I'm tempted so many times, and Tracii, believe it or not, it's because I'm not an asshole either, but I'm tempted so many times to go out and do solo acoustic dates because I make more money doing that.
Yeah.
Than I do touring with STRYPER, because there's 8 guys to split it up. But obviously my love, my baby is STRYPER, and that's why I do that.
That's proof that we're not adults.
Well, it's funny that we're talking about this because especially the going out and doing your own version of a band, because Tracii, you did that because you had your own version of LA Guns for a while. I mean, what was the what was the reaction? I mean, what was the thinking behind that? When was that the exact same thing? It's like, well, screw it. I mean, everybody knows I'm Tracii Guns.
Yeah. So it was total misery, because before I was able, like, when that happened, none of it had any value. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it was like, if I go out as Tracii Guns, it's worth $150. If I go out as LA Guns, it's worth $175. Right? At the time, it was a shit show. So out of doing that, eventually it just turned around into becoming Tracii Guns, right? Mm-hmm. And then it really started building. And by the time we got to, after I had done some side projects and things, by the time I had gotten back together with Phil to do LA Guns, like Michael said, I took a pay cut.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Because you're splitting.
Things got bigger for sure. And, way more dates and albums and all these things and a lot of attention and all that stuff. But it took a while. It took a good 2 months to get back up to my but now, like Michael says, if I had any energy at all, I mean, I could go do that. And Michael and Phil does, you know, Phil will go out and stick a couple grand in his pocket at night, man. He's like, calls me, "Oh, mate, I don't need you. I don't need you." Right? See, this is $2,000 American USD. All right, piss off, wanker. And then I'm like, okay, fine, man, whatever.
Oh man.
Fine. You guys got to make sure there's 3 LA Guns before there's 3 Queensryches. You have to be the first.
Well, there's only one LA Guns now.
Well,
Yeah,
now,
there's only one LA Guns now.
do you know something we don't know, Paul?
Yeah.
No, I'm just that's a reference to the Scott Rockenfeld post. He fell off the planet and disappeared. Then he comes back and says Queensryche 2021. Like, well, you're not in Queensryche. You're not in Jeff Tate's band, which means, well, I guess we're about to get a third version of a band doing Empire. I like, what's this?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And it was interesting because if you go to the website, which I did, everybody has, I'm sure, when it says the band, it shows Michael and Eddie. And
Or which one? I didn't go to the website. To be honest with
the
you.
Scott Rockenfeld or Queensryche 2021 or whatever the website is. It says the band and it shows Scott, Michael, and Eddie. Which just kind of makes you wonder, like, you know, what's he up to? What's going on? You know, it's interesting.
Hey, honestly, the last time I listened to Queensryche, it was Queen of the Rock. Like, I don't know anything. I loved that EP.
Yep.
And then I missed it. It went like,
I wasn't a huge fan back in the day, and I've said this publicly, but when Scott became the singer, I became a huge fan.
Todd.
Really?
Yeah, I did
Todd,
because he came out to a STRYPER show, and he's a big fan of the band. And that's not why I became a fan, but I met him at a STRYPER show at the El Corazon in Seattle.
Yeah.
You played that place, Trace.
Oh, yeah.
And he and Michael, and they were hanging out watching us play, and I met him, and then I saw him perform, and I was pretty blown away at the range and the power that he had. He sounds like old Jeff Tate in his prime. And then I met Todd, and I've become really dear friends with him, you know, and he's just a sweetheart of a guy, and I love him, and I'm a big fan of Queensryche because of Todd. Now,
amazing.
Yeah. And he smokes. He smokes, and he's still got those pipes. It's insanity.
Well, yeah, he may still smoke. I know last time I played with him, I think he was smoking a cigarette before he went on, and then he hits the stage and sounds like a, you know, flipping perfect.
You have to say smoke, you bastards.
So, should we talk about the Sunbomb record, or should we promote every other band on the planet?
I think we should, but I think before we did that, first half of the show brought to you by Beater Amplification. That's 2 E's. BeaterAmplification.com. 100 watts of testicular fortitude. Yeah. Hand wired, hand built, baby. 3 channels, old school Metallica tones, old school AC/DC Kiss tones, and that clean ass Fender tone. Hand wired, hand built. These things are fucking amazing. Tracy, whenever you're back in town, come on over. I'm vaxxed. You want to fucking plug in, man?
I'm in town.
Oh yeah, dude, come over and plug into this son bitch. I love it.
Where is it? Where's he at, man?
I can't go back home to Denmark till.
Oh yeah, there it is.
And it's a long story, man. They kicked my ass out.
Serious?
No. but I can't go back until June 6th.
I was gonna say, wow, dude, you must have done something pretty serious to get kicked out of Denmark.
Denmark, yeah, you would have.
Right.
You would have to, right?
So yeah, BeaterAmplification.com. It's 2 E's. BeaterAmplification.com.
How long? So how much time do you spend in Denmark a year now?
Well, legally,
what?
I can.
Oh, I didn't realize you were still doing the promo reel. Go back.
Yeah.
Go get your free shit. We understand.
BeaterAmplification.com. That's 2 E's. And our good friends over at Mackie, you want to get into podcasting or home recording, hit up our good friends over at Mackie. Hit up the studio bundles, a very affordable way to do it. I mean, why not? Everybody else is doing a fucking podcast. Here is your chance. Mackie, Mackie. Anyways, go ahead, Paul.
Then you can start another effing podcast.
Yes.
So no, Tracy, how long are you in Denmark full time now?
Pretty much. I mean, since the pandemic hit, you know, I had a baby a month before the pandemic hit.
Congratulations.
Over there. And so it was kind of like a blessing for me, because then I just had to stay in Denmark, you know?
Yeah.
But I mean, legally I can only stay there 6 months out of the year. And
Okay.
I'm waiting for my work permit, and that will allow me to work there and be there all the time. So that's why I'm stuck here. I did something stupid when I applied for my work permit and I left, and now I have to wait, and it's a pain in the ass.
Gotcha.
Are you gonna permanently move there at some point in time?
Well, I mean, I am permanently moved there, but it's both. You know what I mean? Because
But I mean, do you think you'll permanently reside there and fly back here only when you have to, or because you seem to be more in LA than you are in Denmark these days, anyway?
Well, yeah, I've been here for 3 months.
Yeah,
because I had to save up 90 days to go back. So, but since October 2019, I've been there 18 months out of that year.
Wow.
Yeah. So
you like it there, but you prefer it there than where you are now?
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's a whole different ball game.
Right.
Different thing. People just live there. They don't argue.
Oh, come on.
What's that like?
It's incredible. Like, you know, down the street and people are like, hi. You're like, hey. And that's it.
Is that why you and Richard Marx get into it so bad with people on Twitter? You have to get it out of your system.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Wait a minute. Who you don't get into it with people, do you? I'm missing something here, man. Do you?
No, I don't really get into it. I know what Izzy's saying though, but I am a big believer in factual information if you're going to write something on the internet.
Oh. So why do you even waste your time on Twitter? What the
I don't anymore.
Yeah.
I mean,
I couldn't do it anymore. It's you know what? I don't care about the opinions of a bunch of people who make their minds up based on what they read on Facebook.
Yeah.
It just I can't. I honestly it does not. What I learned very quickly was, if I need that to sell myself, then I'm doing something wrong. That's the first problem. Second of all, 95% of the people are fucking morons, and I don't want anything to do with them. And I get sucked into their drama, and then it gets me in a bad mood. And then my wife gets mad at me because I'm walking around grumpy because some idiot from wherever said something about Trump that isn't remotely true. Like, and I'm just like, you know what? Why am I even reading these people? They don't matter. I went to school for years to run a magazine. I know how to do it. You know what? You don't. Shut the fuck up. That's it.
That's why I just post. That's why I just post about how much I like boobs.
It robs your joy. It's a joy robber. It can be if you let it. Now, if you can get to that point where you don't let it and you can rise above it, then there's, whatever.
But that's the thing. But you asked me about Denmark. In Denmark, everybody has an education.
Right.
You know, you can't get through life there without going to college, because they pay for your college. So you're smart. You have information. You know what science is. You know how everything works. And it's not a two-party system. You know, there's 30 people run for office. Every vote counts. And who's there? There's no division. It's like, okay.
Sounds
second
nice.
happiest country in the world. It's easy. It's cheap.
So
nice.
once you get back over there and you got all that stuff sorted out, you'll sponsor me to come be a permanent visitor.
Check how it works. You know, as soon as they let Americans travel to Europe, which whoever knows when that's going to be, you get 100 days a year free anyways.
Oh, wow.
You go, 90 days at a time, it's amazing.
Apparently my dog's coming.
All right.
Apparently your dog wants to talk about Sunbomb. Oh, he muted himself.
I could understand the dog. It definitely said.
Would you rather have me not mute myself so you can listen to the dog the whole time?
Let's talk about the album on Frontiers Records. It is called Evil and Divine, by the band Sunbomb. Which
one of you is evil and which is divine?
Wait, let me flip this pack. Hand is Michael, QR code is me.
We're both divine, man. Nobody's evil in this band.
That's
Nobody's
true.
evil. Nobody's evil. So how did this project come up? I've heard a number of different origin stories, if you will, about some of these Frontiers projects, like the Sweet Oblivion one that Jeff Tate was involved with and stuff. How did this come about for you guys? Like, what did this? It didn't start with the two of you saying, "Hey, we want to make a record together."
Well,
right.
Let me go back to the beginning, Paul Gargano.
Okay.
So me and Axel had just got done with an LA Guns, and the manager, Serafino calls me and hey, you over there, stupid fucking American prick. I need you to do a solo record. And I'm like, there's only one answer you give Serafino, and it's yes. It's like, I'll do it. I'll do whatever you want, man. And, but I had no idea what to do. And just so, my wife and I, she's Danish. She listens to black metal, it's like, so, wow. I was getting turned on to like a lot of newer metal, meaning like metal that's like only 25 years old, and a lot of that reminded me of the stuff Michael and I grew up on, and you guys too, Sabbath, East Scorpions, Randy Rhoads, all that really cool stuff. And so I just started kind of fumbling around on the guitar, and I was like, all right, I know what to do, I think, so I demoed up a few songs and I heard them back, and the wife approved, and that's all that ever matters anyways, is either your mom or one of them like golden.
He's telling the truth with that, man.
Right? That's it. So I said, I texted Michael out of the blue. I had only known Michael in human form for about a year at that time. And I really liked Michael, and I went and played with Michael at the Whiskey, and we're tight. So I just texted him a demo. I go, hey, what do you think of this? And he writes back, goes, what is this? It's me. He goes, wow, that's cool. I go, you want to sing on it? Yeah. And I'm like, well, you want to sing on 11 of these? Like, oh, doing a record.
I thought he was asking me to sing on one song.
Yeah.
But the contract came in Danish, and you just signed it. And next thing you know, you had to do a whole record. Yeah.
That was.
I was in Michael's Arts and Crafts. I think it was Halloween time, and I was there with my wife. We were looking at Halloween decorations, and that's when I got the text from Trey. So I'm like, okay, what's this?
Because it was Frontiers, did you have to look really close at the contract to see if George Lynch was involved anywhere?
No, had to look close at the contract for other things, but not not George Lynch being in there.
Hello, LA.
Nice.
That's a nice
view.
Look at that view, man. Wow. Nice.
That's a nice view.
Hey,
where are you?
I live right under the Hollywood sign when I'm in LA.
Like literally right under it in a tent.
You got a view of it? Let's see a shot of it.
You can't see it.
Yeah.
He's not the other side of that.
He's not as close. He's not as close as Nuno is.
No, Nuno lives right up the street. That's right.
Nuno
lives higher than I do.
Yes.
Dude, that's awesome, man.
If I go to the middle of my street, you can see the Hollywood sign straight up the road, straight up.
What, are you on Beechwood?
I'm on Massillon, which is in between Fairfax and La Brea. I'm down by the El Rey Theater, but there's a straight shot. It's a straight shot of.
Dude, that's so crazy. If you go out my door and you get in a car and you drive for an hour and you get on a plane, you fly 3,000 miles, you can see the sun.
Right?
It's crazy.
Wow. We got all these people on my phone. Is Michael sweet?
Oh,
hey, what's up?
There he is.
And is Presley's in there somewhere?
What's going on, dude? Last time I saw you was at the Whiskey, I think, a few years ago.
Nice.
Yeah,
this is the special guest part of the show.
So Fitz lives at the house all the time.
Yep.
Good to see you, man. How you doing?
Good. Feeling good. Looking good. Looking good, Mortimer. Fitz.
You've been safe and healthy and everything?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Oh, he's got an apartment downstairs. Are you kidding? I don't even go in his part of the house. No, he's not allowed. I'm not allowed. It's like, Fitz, you want to stay at the house? I go down there, and he's got like a steel mill and he's got, you know, a lathe.
I got butter churner.
Yeah, he's down there doing it. Thank you for this.
I know, right?
Wow.
I know.
Oh, man, dude.
Look at that.
That looks so good.
Drumstick.
Yeah.
Oh.
He knows I miss my
Wow.
wife, really.
So he brought you ice cream. That's
Man.
amazing. Fitz,
Wow.
you want to deliver one of those to Burbank, please?
Yeah, you know, like now in
I'll-
Izzy's
tomorrow.
Izzy's Instagram feed is going to be a drumstick in about 3 hours. Yeah.
Yeah, give it time. Give it
Like-
here.
They got caramel one.
That's why it's Jagger like.
Yeah, they have caramel one. They don't have them there. Oh.
How about we do this? How about I take the
Sorry,
commercial
man.
break and we'll come back and we'll dive deeper into the Sunbomb record.
I'm envious, man.
Deeper. We haven't
Deeper.
even scratched this. We haven't
I
even
know.
dived yet.
I know. See, that's perfect. All right, we'll be back in 2 minutes and 2 seconds with Tracii Guns and Michael Sweet of Sunbomb.
Vinny Tortorich here. Hey man, if you're a fan of Izzy, you might be a fan of me too. I'm the guy that gets people to lose a lot of weight. I have something free for you guys. This is no clickbait. Just go to vinnytortorich.com and there's a big banner. It's a free PDF, how to lose weight. It's an intro guide to NSNG at vinnytortorich.com. Go check it out exclusively for anyone who listens to Izzy Presley. Thank you.
RockstarLeatherworks.com is your home for badass rock and roll gear. Featuring 100% handmade leather bands, watches, cuffs, bracelets, and more, Rockstar Leatherworks has something for everybody. Whether you are going to the show or you are in it, you can find something to fit your needs. Choose from a variety of designs or create your own masterpiece. Their bands and watches are second to none. They also ship internationally. Who needs a stage to be a rock star? Check out RockstarLeatherworks.com.
Hey ladies, Sass Pants Designs will take that band shirt that everyone has and make it your own in a flattering, sassy, and simple way. There are one-of-a-kind tank tops, halter tops, lace-up tees, and tube-top dresses already in stock. Check out the online store at sasspantsrocks.com and like Sass Pants Designs on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for special offers and custom orders. Use the code IZZY25 for 25% off of your entire order at sasspantsrocks.com. That's sasspantsrocks.com. Let Sass Pants make you the envy of the party.
Rockwood Saloon Authentic Apparel takes rock and roll fashion to a new level with their tees and tanks for men and women. They also make custom shirts, jackets, vests, pants, hoodies, beanies, and more. The Rockwood Graphics Department can design anything from your logo, t-shirt design, promo posters, band swag, and printed at great prices. From tour shirts and custom stage gear to killer threads for the street to the stage, Rockwood Saloon has it all. Rockwood Saloon, authentic rock and roll apparel for stage and street. World tour tested for quality, comfort, style, and durability. Check them out at www.rockwoodsaloon.com. That's rockwoodsaloon.com.
A reading from the Book of Ace. Chapter Fraley's Comet. Verse Dolls. I love my dolls. You must believe me. It's plain to see they really love me. I love my dolls. They'll never leave me happily. Praise be to Ace.
All right, second half of the show brought to you by AP Lasers. Hit them up, aplasers.com. Father's Day is coming up. Graduation is happening. You want to do something sweet for them? Hit up aplasers.com. These guys are so good they can even laser engrave a hot dog bun. I have seen it done. aplasers.com. And our good friend John Palumbo. Yes, John Palumbo. You have a band, you have a business. You need a website, you need a logo done. Hit up our good friend John Palumbo. JohnPalumboDesign.com. We are back with Tracii. Oh, also hit up Monsters in the Mountains. Yes, festival this summer put on by the great people of the Monsters of Rock Cruise. It is going to be a freaking blast this October. Cannot wait. And you can also catch me in Nashville in August at the Rock and Pod Expo. It has been confirmed. Mike Dawson from Corolla is coming with me, helping me out at the booth. The voice of the voice himself will be there. It's going to be great. Anyways, Tracii Guns, Michael Sweet are back with myself and Paul Gargano. Talking about the Sunbomb record. Where did we leave off before you got ice cream?
I didn't get ice cream. I got rainbow pizza.
What are you guys doing to me, man? I got nothing. Nothing.
I got leftover rainbow pizza. That's what I got. And a coffee.
Wow.
But you
I
know
like
what? My dog stopped barking because now my dog has pizza. So see how that works?
See, everybody loves pizza. Well, I guess I'm gonna have to do a shot.
We were just talking about how Michael
Oh,
and I
boy.
decided to do the record.
Yeah.
You know, I think
So
it was
did-
kind of a no-brainer for both of us. You know.
Yeah. Well, Tracii, and the thing that I do love about it is, we're all used to your playing in LA Guns, and this is nothing like your playing in LA Guns.
Right. I mean, that's the thing with LA Guns. I have to blend, blues and classical music kind of together to kind of create a metallic blues-based rock band. I mean, that's kind of always been the formula for LA Guns. But for Sunbomb, it's just all metal and classical. There's not much blues in it except the one tune. But yeah, I mean, it's easy for me to be able to switch that gear because I know what LA Guns is. So
right.
If I do something else, it's like, okay, I'm going to do rockabilly, I'm going to do metal, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do whatever. But for this, it had to be metal and it had to be fucking Michael Sweet, man. Come on.
Yeah. Well, plus with LA Guns, you have to figure, okay, can Ace play this? Kidding, buddy. Kidding, Ace. I love you.
Hey, let me tell you something. On the new LA Guns album, Ace has a song on there, and it's like my favorite song on the album.
Nice. Oh, he's a badass player. I fucking love that guy.
He's a great dude too.
Michael, what was your thoughts when you first heard this? I know you kind of touched on it a little bit, but I like
well, look, my roots are, Priest and Maiden and Ozzy and Van Halen. Tracii and I share the same love for this style of music, and our passion runs deep for it. So it didn't come as a shock to me at all. I mean, I thought it was cool because for me, it was a little bit more on the darker side in terms of the chord progressions, and the rhythms were a little slower, and just it had a little bit more, of a darker feel to it for me. STRYPER stuff, it tends to be a little bit more happy, for lack of a better term, more major chord progressions and upbeat stuff. So it was fun to do that, man. It was out of my wheelhouse, but yet in my wheelhouse because I grew up on all that stuff.
So Tracii,
go ahead.
Tracii, did you write this? Did you start writing this with Michael in mind, or did you start writing this and then the label said, "Who do you want to be the singer?" And you how did the union of the two of you come about?
Well, it was me just texting Michael. I was writing the music, and I was thinking who could sing this? And Michael, I mean, honestly, to get it to the level where it's been taken to, I mean, unless it's Rob Halford, I really don't know who else could perform at this level on this style of music, So I think I got really lucky that I became friends with Michael and that we have the same vision for this style of music, And the coolest thing about this whole thing is that it is totally organic. It's like, hey, buddy, here's a bunch of metal riffs. And he's like, hey, buddy, here's a bunch of metal, vocals and this and that. And we're like, we all, when I got the mixes back with Michael's voice on them, that was the success. That was it for me. It was like, yeah, okay, that's it. I don't care.
I still, to this day, I rewind that moment when he listened, Trace listened to the first song, which was "Take Me Away," and he texted me, and I was trying to recall what he texted me, and he reminded me the other night in an interview. It was "Holy shit."
Yeah, holy shit.
So I thought that was pretty cool because I was a bit nervous, sending the tracks back because I didn't know what he was going to think. I didn't know what anybody was going to think. I gave my best, and I was just hoping and praying that it worked and it fit. And thank God it did, And now Blabbermouth, because he said unless it's Rob Halford, Blabbermouth is going to take that and say that Tracii Guns says Michael Sweet is better than Rob. It's going to be something like that. You know it.
Yeah.
So during the process, it took me a year to finish the music, and it took Michael almost a year to finish the vocals, so 2 years. And there was never a discussion or me being like, hey, let me hear something. Like, I didn't want to put any pretense. I didn't want to give my opinion.
That's fucking cool.
I know Michael, I know what he's capable of. And I just feel that it's the same with Phil. I don't give my input. It's like, if something's weird, then I would be like, what the hell's wrong with you? Because I trust these guys so much, and I know I know the level that they're at. So getting those songs back, and I kind of got one a day and then two a day, then one, for about 10 days. And it was like Christmas every day on the Sunbomb thing. It was just like, wow, and, at the time, I think our son was like, 4 or 5 months old when we were getting the mixes in. And my wife's just like, I don't care about heavy metal right now. We have this, and I'm running around the house like, listen to this, and I'm cranking the stereo in the living room. You could hear it from Sweden. That's how loud I was playing it.
Yeah. Lyrically, was there, Tracii, did you start writing lyrics, or did you just put that all on Michael? Did you have any ideas?
Basically, Tracii wrote the music. Tracii wrote the music, and another guy, Mitch, wrote the lyrics and the melodies. And then the lyrics and the melodies got rehashed and rewritten by a guy named Alessandro at Frontiers. And then when they came to me, I fine-tuned the melodies and the lyrics. Because there was a language barrier. So a lot of the, I don't even know, Trace, if you saw the lyrics when they came from Alessandro, but I had to kind of rework them just because of the Italian English thing, And, but I'll be honest, man, I didn't have a big part in the writing of this album. I mean, I played a part in it, but not a big part, which was, again, another cool thing for me, because I'm the primary writer for STRYPER. In Sweet and Lynch stuff, I write half of the 50%, George writes 50%. So this time around, it was different for me. It was really cool, to get songs that were more complete and say, all right, I'm going to sing this stuff. Cool, let's do this. It's really, really awesome.
It's
so
fun
you didn't change the music at all. You just changed the lyrics. You adapted the lyrics to what would fit in English.
Yeah, I did nothing to the music. I didn't play a note on this. Everything was already done and arranged and ready to go. So when I got the music, the actual master, the finished tracks from Tracii that Alessandro had, and Alessandro did some rough vocals over those, or Mitch did on a few of the songs. I think They Fought was one of them, right? Yeah, They Fought. I took those melodies that they were singing, and then I did my own thing with them, because there were sections that didn't feel like me. There were a couple lines here and there, melodies that just didn't like. That's not what I would do. So I did something. I had the liberty to do some different things, and thank God, rolling the dice when Trace got it back, he liked everything, and it worked.
So much of what you do is you. I mean, you're such a huge part of STRYPER. You just put out, you put out your re-release the solo record. Is it like refreshing to do something like this, or is it frustrating because you're like, oh man, I would have done something different there? And do you just kind of like, how does it work like that?
No, it wasn't frustrating at all. The only thing that was frustrating about it was just the fact that we had to jump through some hoops to get to that point, to figure it all out and dot the I's and cross the T's. It took us a while, like Tracii said, a couple years. But once we got to that point, man, I was loving it. I was right here in this room. I got my vocal chain set up right over here, and I put my headphones on. I record myself. And the reason why I do it that way is because I don't feel any pressure at all.
Right.
If I want to go, sit on the toilet throne, if I want to go to Starbucks, if I want to walk my dog, I want to go get the mail, whatever it does, I'm not on anybody's time except mine. And that's the way I've been doing vocals for like the past 12 albums. It takes me about a day per vocal. And then I'll take a few days off, listen to them all, fix some things, do some editing, and then it's done.
So you self-produce your own vocals?
I do.
Okay.
I mean, that's really that's the whole record was done, right? I wrote I recorded all the music, sent it to Adam, the drummer, and he played drums to what I had already recorded, and then sent it to Michael, and he recorded his vocal. So it was like zero interaction between band members in the studio.
How do you guys feel? Oh, sorry, Tracii. How do you guys feel about self-producing? Because there's a lot of people that are in the mindset of there's a reason you have a producer to weed out things that you would probably let fly because of your musical integrity. But you have that producer there go, no, okay, that's terrible. Don't do that. You know, when you're producing yourself, you might go, oh, I kind of like it. I'm going to roll with it, you know, and it might suck.
Trace, you give your explanation, then I'll follow up because I've got a little bit to add to that. But go right ahead, Trace. Let me hear it, man.
I mean, you know, I think that particularly Michael and I, we've kind of earned the right after 30 plus years of making albums to know what makes sense. You know, more than taking it personal, but what makes sense. You know, what flows and what's over the top, what's frivolous. You know, what's too much, what's too little. You know, and the thing with me is I've really studied engineering since our first record, since I was 20 years old, you know, so it's like finally, and this goes back to the last 2 LA Guns records or 3 records, that third one's not out. I can finally get the sound I want, you know, on everything. You know, it's like, I don't have to listen to anybody. It's like, I can get what my ears want to hear, and that's a luxury.
Yeah.
And doing it yourself with no time constraint, then it's a double luxury. It's like, but the thing is you got to have room, you know, and Michael has the right room for him. I've got the right room where I can do everything. And Adam has the ultimate drum studio, you know, you know, we got
that's a big deal. I mean, the foundation being the drums, in my opinion, you got it. Those really have to be treated special. A lot of guys think they can just track drums like here in this room. I would never track drums in this room, not in a million years. Even if I had a great engineer come in here with all the right mics and pre's and everything, I wouldn't do it because the room, it sounds like crap. You know, there's nothing live about this room. So that's so important where you track drums. But man, if you know what you're doing, you've been doing it for a long time, you've learned over the years, like Trace and I both, we grew up in studios, and you're working, you have the team that's working with you and they're professionals, you can make a killer album, and you can make it for, you know, $15, $20, $25, $30,000 instead of $200,000 or $300,000 like that back in the 80s, you know?
Yeah.
Well, that's part of the thing that I've just noticed over the years too. I mean, you guys know how to do it, and you've paid attention, and you're student. When you go into the studio, you're not going in there half drunk, giving a half-assed rendition of your song, and then getting out of there so you can go party more. You're learning. You're figuring it out.
Yeah.
So many records today.
What's part of what Michael said is also we're not buying Tom Worman lunch every day for a year.
Well, no, and part of the problem,
bowl of wine.
Part of the problem you run into today, I think a lot of people think they know how to produce and they don't know how to produce, which is the other problem. And the records sound like they were recorded, you know, by me in a bathtub. And it's just like,
there's a difference between engineering and producing, you know, so the producer, you trust your ears, you know. I was lucky enough to hang out with Rick Rubin a few times, and George Drakolius and some other really great producers. And great producers, rock producers, only work with great artists.
Yeah.
You know? And they'll be the first to tell you, all I got to do is show up and make sure it doesn't go off the rails. You know what I mean? Because a good artist is a good artist. A good song is a good song. So nowadays I feel that producers come in there with more of a sense of entitlement, like they're going to rewrite the music, you know, like they're going to put in their 2 cents. Well, that's not what a producer's supposed to do. You know, a producer's supposed to find a great artist and hire great engineers. That's what a producer's supposed to do. So the production part is pretty easy for rock. We're rock fans. We know what works.
Yeah.
The engineering part, that's a whole nother ball game. You know, it's like I did 2 solo albums called League of Gentlemen. That was me learning how to engineer, right? You know, it's 24 songs total. I recorded them from top to bottom. After those 2 records, I was confident I could record LA Guns sounds, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
So it's this education. Everything's about education.
Engineering is a
Absolutely.
big deal. A lot of these producers from the 80s, I personally worked with, like Michael Wagner, for example. He was an engineer.
Yeah.
So he didn't come in with an engineer, and he came in and he did an amazing job as engineer and producer. But guys like Tom Warman, he always had an engineer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And his engineers were brilliant, like Eddie Delana. You know, it's like he's really the guy that made those records sound like they sound.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
right.
And Tom just kind of oversaw it all, and obviously a legendary producer and amazing producer. But without the engineer, it wouldn't be the same. It wouldn't fly. So absolutely.
Yeah,
Well, yeah,
yeah.
a good example of that is like Motley Crue Shout at the Devil. Tom Warman's the producer, but Jeff Workman was the engineer. That record doesn't sound like any other Tom Warman record. It's incredible.
Right.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Well, I think
obviously he brought a lot to the table with the tones and the miking techniques and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And a part of especially today, like you guys have been around long enough. You're established. You know what you want. You know how to get it. I think part of the problem today is we go back into that. You know, how many shows did you play before you were signed? You knew what you were doing. You knew guitar tones. You knew what you wanted to do. So many of the bands today are just products of a Pro Tools kit in their bedroom, and they don't know how to write songs. They don't know how to play. They don't know how to find tones. So today, the role of a producer is completely different because the producer today is expected to write the song because the band doesn't know how anymore. The band's lucky to come up with a riff. Somebody else has to turn it into a song.
Yeah.
So that's the difference today, where it's shifted a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
No question about it. I think a great producer is someone that can do it all.
Yeah.
Someone that can write, that can play, that can record, engineer.
Yeah, yeah.
And someone that's good with budgeting. Someone that can do it all. That if you can find someone that can do that, you know, someone like a Mutt Lange, obviously, Mutt can do it all. Those are truly the special, one-of-a-kind rarities. They're just great producers.
Michael James Jackson is another name that is great at it all. Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. And I think in a lot of ways, the engineers are the unsung heroes because they're the ones coming in and literally doing the dirty work. They're the ones dialing everything in. They're the ones spending the time making sure the drums sound perfect and make sure everything sounds the way it sounds before the producer comes in and goes, maybe that chorus should be a little bit louder or a little bit longer, rather. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
or maybe that verse should be cut. But it's
or coming in and going, hey, that sounds good. Coming in 4 hours later and saying, yeah, that sounds good, guys. Closing the door.
So you guys didn't have a lot of outside influence on this then. This was the records you wanted to make.
Yeah. Period. You know, and you know, when you go back to, you know, tape machines and big mixing boards and outboard equipment and all that stuff, you had to have a degree in engineering. You know, I mean, those guys, like you said, are such unsung heroes, you know. But some of them, like, you know, Eddie Kramer and Andy Johns, Glenn Johns, like, you know, a lot of guys, they became really well known and really notorious, able to do. And the thing that was great about those guys, with all that big mechanical sound equipment, is that they committed. You know, there was no adding delays later. There was no adding compression later. It was like EQ a kick drum, EQ a snare, EQ the toms, you know, notch the guitars, do the bass, keyboards, vocal, you know, send the reverb, send the reverb, send the reverb, send the reverb, but band go, right?
Yeah.
And it sounded like a record the first time the band played coming through.
Yep.
So nobody has that luxury anymore. Nobody, you know, so you got to be really clever. And that's why Pro Tools is amazing, because if you are clever and you don't overdo it, you use it as a tape recorder, essentially. That's all it is. Tape recorder. And you make sure that everything is ready to go. And then you hit record and then you go, and then it comes back and you go, yes.
Yep.
And the most common mistake that 95% of people that record at home And I know that people always have this question. They always ask me, is where do those meters need to be on the individual tracks? And I'm going to answer that as low as possible. It's not like tape where you want it as loud as possible.
Yeah.
You want them as low as possible. Every time you add another track, it does something called summing, and it boosts the gain.
Yep.
Keep all your tracks low, even the drums, even the kick, even the snare. You can compress it later. You can get those things. But that is the most important thing about home engineering, is knowing where those levels are at, knowing how cold to record things. It's digital. You're not going to saturate any tubes or tape.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess
that right there is the payoff for listening for an hour and 5 minutes. You just learned how to record your band and not sound like shit.
There you go. And I guess the reason I brought it up is it's funny because it always goes back to Kiss. You brought up Michael James Wagner.
Oh my God. Can I just stop for a second? Like literally 3 minutes ago, I said, oh my God, at the end of this interview, I might actually get to congratulate Izzy for not bringing up Kiss.
Dude, at least I'm not doing my Sebastian.
Now, hey, between the two of you guys, Izzy and Paul, who's the bigger Kiss fan?
I would say me.
I'm gonna go with Izzy because I'm not insane. I mean, because I can admit that once they took their makeup off, there's a lot better music out there to listen to.
Dude, that
and
80s,
he'll sit here and
amazing.
he'll sit here and argue that
amazing.
Animalize is as good as Alive 2, and I'm just like, you know what? No.
So basically, where I was going is because about the producer thing, going back to Destroyer with with Bob Ezrin, because he wrote a lot of the stuff on the record, and he really fine-tuned that band and changed them into what they became, Destroyer on, and that's kind of why I was curious about the producer.
Another great producer. Ezra.
Yeah, but Kiss is a great example. From what Paul Stanley said, recently in the last few years, that they really had a struggle getting a big sound on those first records. They always felt that Peter wasn't giving it, what they wanted, and this guy would come in to engineer that guy and the other thing. And, like the rest of everybody in the world, they're huge Zeppelin fans. And those records at that time in the 70s were massive sounding, Yeah. And so, they were always looking. And that's why, for me, I have a lot of favorite songs before Creatures of the Night. But Creatures of the Night, to me, is the one that has great production, that sounds heavy, that has multiple layers of music involved, and different vocal styles, and a real strong presence. The songs weren't as clever or catchy maybe on that album, but man, they really got it right. They got
sonically, absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yes.
I'm trying to remember what we got to remember to have Tracii when we do when we do something with Creatures.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I'm a big fan of Creatures, real big fan. That's why we hired Michael to do Hollywood Vampires. I mean, his production.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I did not know that. Amazing.
I did not either.
And he was an amazing man. What a human being.
So listening, like going back to Sunbomb, because we'll end up talking about Kiss for another 3 hours. Are there any songs that like came to you like that mean a little bit more than others? Is there a song that like came particularly easy, or one that was brutally difficult? Is there one where you're like, that's my black metal something, or quite like that? This is for Tracii, and then we'll flip that one around and go, after you got a chance to like do your thing to the vocals, are there certain songs you like more than others, Michael?
Well, yeah. I mean, when I got the vocals back, all the songs had new meaning. All of them. They all had a new character about them, because Take Me Away, which seems to, now that people have the album in their hands, really seems to kind of overwhelmingly be the one that people are like, whoa, we didn't know that this was on here,
Right.
Yeah. you know, because up to that point, I think Life and Better End, which were released as singles, they're exciting. You know, they're like really traditional, fast metal, you know, great. And Michael and I are doing our pyrotechnic kind of things on it. But take it away, it is just turned out like, you know, steel plates falling on asphalt. It's just like
it's an attitude. It's like a real like tough, badass, like just has a really cool attitude to it.
But I mean, but the lyrics too, though. I mean, it's like, you know, if I was going to be a video director, I would find the scariest looking jackalope in the world, and a camera would follow a jackalope through the gray skies and, you know, and the apocalypse and stuff, because it just, that attitude is from the bottom to the top, man. It's just like, it's scary. It's a really scary song.
Yeah, it is. That's a good word and good description. It is scary sounding. Very scary. Like it should be in a horror flick or something, you know?
Absolutely.
You know, Michael, you said that you didn't play a note on this record. Tracii, you know, being Michael's a very, very, very good guitar player. Was there any, did you say, was there any thought about, hey, why don't you lay something down on this? Or maybe if there's another one down the line, or, you know, is that a possibility?
No, because I mean, the idea behind these records is to interject our personalities. You know what I mean? Like here's, you know, I make the cake, you know, now you make it taste good. You know what I mean? It's like it's our opportunity to focus on one thing, you know, and you know, we each have our own palette of colors that we can do to the sections of the music. And you know, and it's gotten that way with LA Guns too, where like, you know, I have somebody so great like Ace, you know, but once I write something, because we don't rehearse, we don't write the songs together, we don't do those things, I get sketchy because it's like I already have the 7 layers planned, you know, like I know how this works, and it makes me feel guilty, honestly, because I want everybody to be involved as much as they can. But I mean, but come on, after
it would sound less like Sunbomb too if I did play on it.
Okay.
Because I have a certain style, and once I start playing guitar on anything with my style and my tone, it's got that STRYPER thing to it, you know, and it just it would take on more of that sound, and I think it was important to not do that, obviously.
Okay. Right.
So that's what makes it really cool and special and unique.
I think so.
Paul, what do you got?
I'm waiting for my dog. My wife is about to walk in the front door. My dog is going to go crazy. So that's what I'm waiting
Paul,
for.
you asked a question earlier. My follow-up to which song. Better End for me, vocally, was probably the funnest song for me to sing because of the dynamics. And I love how it just, you know, it goes from this real beautiful harmonized section to this, wow, you know, this real crazy King Diamond-ish scream. And it's just all over the map. But I love that about that song in particular.
You know what I love about your vocal, aside from the song, the end where you do the rhythm change. Where you go, better, you know, when the music goes,
it's a slight change on the rhythm.
Wow, it explodes at the end, you know, and your voice, it hits that real powerful mid-range thing there, and then you do the King Diamond scream on top of it, and it's just like, you know, the 15-year-old me is just like, yes.
That was fun. That was a fun one. I mean, they were all fun to sing, but that one in particular just had a little extra special sauce on it, you know, and it was just really enjoyable.
I think we talked about this when you were on talking about other stuff solo, but was it really hard for you to get into that mode of not being Michael from STRYPER? Because that's, I mean, your voice, I personally, and I think Izzy and I disagreed on this last time, I don't think you sound like Michael Sweet from STRYPER on this. Like, I think you take your voice in a different direction. Was it hard to not just give that delivery that everyone's used to?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's always difficult to stretch out and step outside of your box and try something different. So, it's not only a physical thing, it's a mental thing, right? And you got to do it in both areas. And yeah, I mean, there were times, certain songs more than others, where that was more difficult. Some songs felt like my thing, like what I do in Striper, and although I was maybe singing with a little bit of a different tone and timbre and whatnot, it took more thought for sure. And even after I'd sing a song, I'd come back to it and say, no, I'd listen the next day and I'd say, no, that's not it. And I'd re-sing it, just to try to get a little bit more of a gritty voice, or more of a head voice, or more of a chesty voice here or there. It was interesting. So with Striper, I don't do that as much. I don't have to think about it as much, right? Because I just do my thing.
It's innate. It just happens. Yeah.
Well, the one that
was more thought.
The one that's like super vocally interesting to me, and it's the bluesiest song, is "Stronger Than Before" is the name of the song.
Oh, yeah.
Because it has this real, like, how many more times kind of swing, ding, 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 ding. And I didn't know how it was going to fit in with the rest of the music, because it does have a swing, which is kind of also a Sabbath thing. Sabbath does swing sometimes.
Oh yeah.
So the way that Michael comes into that is very rock and roll at the top, all right. It's like really got more of a sexy swagger bluesy feel. But then when you go to the 12-bar change, which is normally would be a do 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 do, but no, it goes to like 1/4 time. Down, 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 bow.
Right.
I was really curious to see what was going to happen there vocally.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because it slows down. Like, you go from 6th gear into 2nd gear, but the vocal goes back to 6th gear over it. And like, that dynamic to me is so fucking impressive. It's, I don't know if I've ever heard anything particularly like that. And even when I still hear the music change, I was so determined to make that music change like that there.
Yeah.
Or else it would have been a typical blues song. It would have just been very. So being able to cut that tempo like way down, I still get excited when I know that it's coming. Which I can't say about a lot of other music I've ever written, because things are usually pretty format. Usually pretty much. A song is a song. Don't ruin the song by being clever. That's always my thing. It's like, don't be clever. Be good, make it great. Don't be clever, so that's a little bit clever, and it worked this time, and vocally it blows my mind, because it's just like, it could have been such a throwaway track had you not paid extra attention to it and dynamically did what you did to it, and that's why I'm so excited about the whole record.
Well,
it's got to be.
I'm happy to hear you say that, brother. I take the way I approach vocals with any song is section by section. Instead, I'm not a guy that sings through the whole song, right? Which is how most guys do it that way. And hey, let me do it again. I'm warming up. Let me do it again. And then okay, start taking it. And then they'll get 3 tracks and they'll comp it. I go section by section. At least that's how I'm doing it lately. And I focus on that section, and then I'll hit that section again and do it again. Then I'll build up 3 or 4 tracks. Then I'll comp it. Then I move on to the next section, because I like to really think out every note and every breath and the way it's approached with every single thing that I do. And I'm never happy with what I do ever. I still listen back to the stuff and I'm like, dang, it sucks, man. I could have done a lot better than that. But it's just, that's the way it works,
That's like me in guitar solos. It's like, I got all this theory going through my head, but at the same time, I want to be Johnny Thunders and Randy Rhoads at the same time.
I know.
How do you do all this stuff but still make it sound sloppy and dirty and cool? So
right.
It's always scary to me, and so there always comes a point where I'm like, well, that's it. There it is. You know what I mean? It's like,
Could I do it better? Probably not. You know, that's the reality.
Yeah.
You know, I played for the song. What else do you want? You know, like that's what the song wanted.
No doubt.
It's got to be really, and I, because you touched on this earlier, it's just got to be so bizarre, such a different thing. Because again, not to take away from a full-time project, but as you've said, you know what you're doing at this point. Nobody needs to tell you how to write an LA Guns record. I mean, you know what it is. You know exactly what it's going to be. And quite frankly, those of us in the business, it's really easy to say, all right, we're going to give LA Guns a record deal because we know exactly what we're going to get with an LA Guns record. You know what I mean?
Right.
You're not handing Phil anything and then surprised when you get the results back. It's going to sound like it had to just be a completely foreign experience for you to just take your babies, take your songs, and just ship them off and just be like, what the hell is he going to do to them vocally?
Well, I mean, I'm going to use the word, I believe in Michael, you know what I mean? and, some people, it's like expertise, right? You look at somebody's resume, you're trying to hire the best expert, you're trying to, and so it really, when Michael said yes, I was calm. I was just like, all right, I know, his pedigree, his dedication to his voice and his vocals, and and we're in line with the kind of metal that we enjoy, as teenagers.
Yep.
So I wasn't worried, I certainly didn't expect this though either. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
It really went far beyond my wildest imagination.
Going to the chat room really quick. Scotty and Bruce from Canada. Scotty has a question that Tracii will get to later, but Bruce was asking about, he brought up if there's any videos, and there are 2 videos. Is there going to be, are you guys going to do one like down the road where you guys can actually get in the same room and do it?
Who knows? It's so
on this album, probably not, but you never know. But I mean, I know there's gonna be another album.
Yeah,
that's the word on the street. And at that point in time, for sure, I would think, I would hope that we would do a video in the same room. That would be great.
And then we could get the other guys in the
yeah, because I mean, there's something about a whole band being in the video that makes it even a little more cool.
Yeah.
If you were to do if there were to hypothetically be a second record, would you still have somebody else write the lyrics first, or would you just go straight into the lyrics yourself at that point?
I mean, that would all depend upon what Tracii sends me,
Money wise?
Tracii worked with Mitch. Tracii worked with this guy, Mitch, and all the lyrics were done.
Gotcha.
And Mitch writes a lot of the LA Guns lyrics as well, correct?
Writes all the LA Guns.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
wow.
He's a guy that they work with. And the reason why some of the lyrics had to be rewritten and whatnot is because some of the lyrical content I wasn't comfortable with, there was a song originally that was singing about witches. Not that it was a bad song. The intent was good, but I just felt uncomfortable singing about witches, It
was a little dark.
Yeah, and it was rewritten and it worked out and wound up being great. So Mitch is obviously a really talented guy, man. He writes incredible.
So instead of witches, you sang about bitches, and that made it all better.
That I would sing about.
Well, the original it was about
wait, Mitch who?
Mitch Davis. You can.
Davis.
Do you know Mitch Davis, Paul?
I know the name. I don't know him. I know the name. I don't know.
Yeah,
is he out of New York? Tracy's living out of New York.
Yeah. He's like did the iPhone commercial. He's the most licensed man in history.
Oh wow!
Damn.
And he's you can look him up, but he's very, very behind the scenes. Like he's just one of those guys that he's one of my best friends in the world, and he's just very happy being anonymous, so it's hard to pull him out into the light. There are things like, he did the Star Spangled Banner for the Smithsonian, museum.
Oh,
That's
wow.
it. He's quite talented, man.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No doubt about it.
Yeah.
But the problem with this was more than anything was that Mitch, being the super pop guy in pop culture that people are unaware of, his favorite music literally is black metal. So it's like, wow, you know, how that shows how diverse he is, right? So when he got the opportunity to write lyrics to this music, boy, he sure went for it. You know what I mean?
Did he know he was writing for Michael, or did he just think he was writing for anybody else?
No, he knew it was for Michael, but you know, he still said, well, you know, I'm going to write what I think and I'm going to put it there. And if it doesn't get used, oh, well, you know, that was his thought on it. But he wanted to lay foundations for these songs that, you know, at least gave guidance, you know, and things.
Did you put Johnny Martin on a track just so you didn't get the thanks for the invite text?
Yeah, right. Johnny's on the track because that song called "They Fought" was recorded for the Devil You Know, the last LA Guns record.
Oh, okay.
But it was the wrong kind of metal for that album. So
meaning it was metal.
Right. Well, the last LA Guns record's metal. But this is a little bit more of the Accept flavor, you know, or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to use that song, and Mitch had already written the lyrics to that one. I think that one's pretty much still intact.
Yeah.
So we had Adam just redo the drums, and I left Johnny Martin's bass there. And those are the original guitars that were recorded for the LA Guns record as well. So, so Michael and Adam are the new things on that one particular song. Johnny and I were already old hat.
And Adam did a great job, man. I was really impressed with him, not only as a drummer, but as a person, as a mix engineer. He mixed the album.
Yeah.
What a great guy. What a talented guy. My gosh. Oh.
He's really my muse. He really is.
So good.
Yeah, Adam Hamilton. Everybody is wondering which Adam they're talking about. He was actually in LA Guns for a while.
Well, he's always in LA Guns.
Yeah.
You know, he's like behind the scenes, sometimes on stage. So he can play drums, bass, guitar, mix, sing. Rock.
Talented dude, man.
Yeah.
Boy.
Yeah, he's incredible. You know, that's the greatest thing about, you know, having a long career is you do run across people that you become friends with that are just indispensable, you know, and for Davis and Adam Hamilton are absolutely indispensable.
Yeah. And most important part about him is I can't get over how nice he is, man.
Oh, I know. My God.
Dude. Great dude.
What a wonderful person.
And he got you guys Shatner.
Yeah, on the yeah.
Yeah,
he did. He did.
Scotty from Canada wants to know the Cocked and Loaded Live, will that be a DVD Blu-ray release as well?
No, the video footage was from a live stream, and even I have a little bit of quality control, you know. And as lazy and as not a perfectionist I am, I can't let that be released. It's just not great.
Okay.
You know, so that's that.
That sounds like a good call.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just know. Bruce from Canada wants to know, interested to know what Michael and Tracii think about the KK's Priest new single, Hellfire Thunderbolt.
I like the name.
I'll tell you, man, I'm a huge Priest fan, and that's sacred. Okay. Sacred ground. It's like, anything that's an alternative to Priest, I'm going to like raise an eyebrow out, but I heard that and I was pretty impressed. I mean, the production's great. Tim Ripper sounds amazing. Killer voice. I mean, there's that guitar tone. You can really hear how much KK brought to Priest.
Yeah.
And he really brought a lot to the guitar tone specifically. But man, it's a good track. It sounds great. And I have to admit it.
I haven't heard
it. One of my business partners manages him, so I've heard a bit of it. Yeah, it's good.
Well,
there's a lot to like with that. There's a lot to like with that.
Not in Priest.
Say
I don't
that
wanna
again,
answer
Chris?
that.
I mean, why would you retire from your band and then make the same kind of music on your own?
Well, I mean, I don't think everybody knows all the behind the scene details, but obviously that's not normal, right?
Right.
So something's up, but who knows? It's apparently none of our business. And
Right. Okay. Fair enough.
there's basically two priests now,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Weird.
It's yeah, and it is.
I can't imagine that ever happening.
Well, yeah, you can't relate to that. I know.
Like, I can't imagine there'd be two versions of the same band. I mean, what's that? Wait, KK's priest? I don't know what. But yeah,
Okay.
it's.
Here's the tour: KK's Priest and Riley's LA Guns.
There
Bam!
you go.
All right. Yeah.
Now, if all these bands were smart, if all these bands that have two versions were smart, they'd go out on a double bill,
Right.
Yeah.
And perform together. Paul, you think that's a good idea?
I'm just trying to like, I get for some reason I'm thinking I'm thinking Jeff Tate going out with Queensryche is probably not going to go over very well until they're all on the same stage together. Yeah, I'm just going to go out on a limb with that one.
I thought.
I mean, that's the thing. There's so much. What?
I'm not opposed to it. I would have Riley's band headline, go on at about 8:45, 9, Slamburger 45-minute set, leave, the audience would leave, and then they could play all the classics. Why not?
I relate to what he's saying. He tells the truth, man, because we're getting old, and when you go on too late, it's too late,
Yeah.
It's I'll tell you what, all the things, like Izzy and I one of these days could do a podcast episode where it's just half the crap that goes on behind the scenes that people have no idea about. I mean, I could go on for hours, but like you just said, like I have a tour for one of my bands. We're not announcing it for another 6 weeks, but it's a fall tour, and it's just the behind the scenes crap over what time sets times had to be. I'm like, our fans they have to get babysitters. We are not going on stage a minute after 10:15 period, end of story. That's it. No, you just go back and forth, and it's days
we go on at 9.
Yeah,
we do. We go on at 9, and it's like built in. It's just like, for those years leading up to 2017, I was a solo act. Sometimes I go on at 1 a.m.
Yeah.
Whoa. Yep. And then, then the band got back together. Then I got married. Then I had a baby, and it's like I wake up at 5:30 a.m.
Yeah.
Like I ain't going on a minute past 9:30.
Yeah.
You're like,
Well, I heard this. I heard a story.
The night you played with us, Tracii, we went on late, didn't we? At the Whiskey.
Yeah.
That was like at 10 o'clock or 10:30 show, maybe even 11. We went on late.
Yeah, and that's how I love you, man. We stayed.
Well, it's like that story I heard about Conway Twitty and George Jones touring together. They constantly were fighting about who closed because they both wanted to open so they could go home.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just want to play and get out of here and go home.
Like, smartest band on the planet, Cheap Trick.
Oh,
they'll open for anybody.
Yep.
They do a 45-minute set every night. That's just
and every song up here. So let me tell you about a tour I do have coming up. It's the whole tour is in Denmark. Denmark only has 7 million people. I'm doing a Rolling Stones tribute tour with all these famous Danish actors. Wow. And every show is about an hour and a half from my house in Denmark.
Nice.
So get to go. I get to play all my Keith Richards riffs, and then I'll be home by like 12:30 every night. In my own bed for a whole month, man.
That's amazing.
Wow.
That I am so looking forward to that. You have no idea. Nice theaters.
You getting fed? Are you getting fed good meals? Because that's all that matters.
That's it. That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
I heard they have the same rider that the Stones have, you know, so.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice. And then in February, you're stuck on a boat with me.
Yeah. February, I'm doing the boat. I think I'm bringing the wife and the little tiny guy.
No way.
You guys
Yeah,
doing
I'll volunteer to babysit if you want, so you and the wife could have a dinner.
That would be great.
I will. I love kids.
So you're all doing monsters, right?
Not in a creepy way. And I like kids. I like hanging out with kids. Yeah.
And this kid, Paul, he's 15 months old right now. He is the funniest human being I've ever known in my life.
Oh
he
my
is
God.
hilarious. It's like, and he speaks Danglish, you know. It's like
he speaks Danglish.
it's yeah. You won't want to.
Oh my God.
This kid is something else. You'll see.
Well, Paul,
you know what? He could teach me how to speak Danish, and he could teach me guitar.
There you go. Yeah. But he's playing. He's into it, man. He's into music. He's a joker, and you know, he can barely speak, but what he does, it's the funniest thing.
I won't meet him, dude. I won't be on the cruise. We're not doing the cruise. We're doing Jericho's cruise in October.
Yeah.
So I won't see you guys. I'm gonna miss you guys.
Yeah, I'm gonna miss you
almost
too.
the same time, right?
We could have done a Sunbomb song on the ship.
I know.
Well, Jericho's cruise is October, right?
October, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll be in Denmark. Yeah.
I'll be out with one of my bands, so that's
And the Kiss.
I was supposed to be on the Jericho cruise the first 2 times they moved it, but then now I'm actually making money now because my bands can tour, so I don't need to be on the cruise. If I make money or go on a cruise, I think I'll make money. Thank you very much.
Yeah. That's the adult's decision.
Yeah.
Good to know one of us grew up.
Oh, don't get too impressed.
Oh, I'm very impressed.
Michael, Tracii, if they want to find the Sunbomb record, where can they get it?
Everywhere.
Anywhere you can buy music, man. You can get it at Amazon. It's doing very well at Amazon. Any of the outlets that are still open in America. You know, what do we have? We have FYE. What are the outlets that are open now? Newberry Comics.
Yeah.
Who else?
Pretty much local record stores.
Yeah, local record stores. I did see the vinyl. I did see the vinyl in a local record store.
You can also get it. There's also a Frontiers US store you can go to. You can buy it there. And of course you can stream it, you can download it, iTunes, all that good stuff.
Well, Purchase Street Records has it too.
That's right. Purchase Street. You're talking about in Mass.
Yeah.
Rogers. I thought you was talking about in
That's
Denmark.
a great place, man. Killer
shop.
Yeah. It's so amazing to me too, because I think streaming is the greatest thing in the world. I love it. I have every song, and look, the quality. I also love my vinyl. I've got thousands of records, and I love vinyl. But I think it's just, I'm so tired of hearing people criticize streaming, because it's just, there's something amazing about literally being able to hear any song you want at a moment's notice. And look, I spend more money on vinyl than most people spend on all music combined. But that $15 a month that I spend for Rika and I to have unlimited Apple Music is literally, it's the best money I spend. It's like it's less than one drink at the Rainbow, and every single song is at our fingertips. It's like,
well, now and you heard Apple's they're going to upgrade to totally lossless digital streaming. So, and they're not going to raise the price. I have Tidal, and I have a family plan for the Danish family. I pay like $55 a month, so everybody could have these master quality recordings. And now coming out right now for still the same price we're paying now. And we're going to.
What's the quality? What's the quality, Tracii? You know?
Amazing.
I mean, is it what is it? Is it 6 CD quality, 16-bit? Is it 24-bit? What are they? It's WAV files, right?
On Tidal, they have their own proprietary like decompression. So they get masters from if you ever look at the Tidal catalog, some master quality and some things are still when we put it on our stereo over there, because we have an old vintage
nice
high-end thing. When we run Tidal through that and we play
like let's say we play Eagles Greatest Hits normal, and then
Yep.
the master version.
You hear the difference.
Whoa!
Wow.
Yeah.
Sounds like an album. It's like,
That's
oh my
crazy.
god!
Wow.
And so
That's killer.
upgrading, it's going to be competitive, the same sound quality.
That's amazing.
Oh
And
wow.
I get, look, Spotify is a big part of the business, and they're an extremely important part of the business. But one of the biggest mistakes Apple makes, and I preach about it all the time, they do not know how to market properly, because it's like the music is just such a loss leader for them at this point, because it's not a phone and it's not everything else they do. But man, it's just everything about their product is fantastic, and they don't know how to get it out there. The artists get paid better on Apple. They don't know how to get it. It's so much. And now I think this is going to be a great thing for them. Hopefully they will get it out to the public the right way and be able to get some of those people away from some of the other platforms, because I'm a huge Apple guy.
Well, we got Susie Cole, man. You know, so it's like we got to support Susie Cole.
Got to support Susie. Yep. Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Well, let's hope for the best and hope it happens. So that's good.
Michael, Tracii, if you want to find you online, pretty damn easy.
Yeah.
It's very easy.
Like, here's the thing. If this is, I kind of am at the point where if you even have to tell people how to find you, those are the people you don't want to find you.
Yeah, exactly.
Followers.
It's amazing that people have trouble finding, Tracii or myself online.
Yeah.
It's just michaelsweet.com. We got striper.com. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of the above, and I'm on there daily posting, and it's really me posting, and it's not some staff member posting stuff.
Mm-hmm. Tracii, any word on new LA?
I hold on one sec. I just want to encourage. I want to encourage anybody to just go say something stupid under Michael's post, because one of the few things I enjoy about Instagram is reading Michael engaging with people who are stupid. I'm just
let me ask you something. Hey, you're a smart guy. Am I respectful when I do that, or am
you are absolutely? You are so respectful when you do that. It's part of the reason I read, because it's like I'm like, God bless him for just like you must do yoga for an hour and a half before you respond to people, because I'm like, people are just so dumb sometimes, and it's just, you're so respectful, and I try to be respectful, and the problem I have is I go from respectful to condescending very quickly, so I just stay off. I'm just like, I can't.
I can get there. I get there fast. If I had too much coffee, I get there really fast.
Yeah.
Tracii, LA Guns, new music, any word?
Yeah, November 12th. The album's called Checkered Past.
Nice.
Oh, beautiful.
November 12th.
Done.
Now wait, the album comes out, but when does the first song / video come out?
That's a good question. I think we're talking about everybody being in LA the first part of August, and we're gonna try to do a video, like a band video.
So maybe end of August, early September, maybe something like that.
Yeah. We'll have that, and people hear the music's awesome.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
Awesome, man.
So I'm just locking this in right now. I'm in Kuwait when your album comes out, and I'm on the Kiss cruise the week before that. So we're gonna have to tape the LA Guns episode to air when it comes out.
Wow.
Awesome.
We're locking November in right now for the LA Guns episode.
I love it.
You got it.
Love it. And next week we got Tammy Down. Is it just Tammy, or do we have more members?
I believe he's going to bring his favorite drinker in the band on.
Oh God, Tender.
Who's his favorite?
We get Tender.
He's like, Chad's been on enough. I'm bringing somebody else.
Yeah, just gonna say, all you need is Chad Stewart speaking for you, and when you're trying to promote something.
Hey, tell Tammy I said hello, okay? Tammy.
Absolutely.
We love Tammy.
What's that?
I love Tammy.
Yeah, I've never really sat down and had a heart to him with him, but we've kind of patched things up. Not that we needed to, but just said hello.
Well, fucking
You
Bubba,
know what?
Bubba, we can do it right here, Bubba.
That's not your best imitation.
I know.
I'm just gonna let you know.
I know it's not.
That's not your best.
Oh man!
Look, your Sebastian.
That was
Sebastian
like
one
Chips
is
enough
good.
doing an imitation.
Yes, that was a Chips enough. That was Chips enough
doing
imitating
Tammy
down. That's what that was.
All right, let me hit the outro music really quick, and we'll say goodbye off the air. Hit up Paul Gargano at Paul Gargano on Instagram and Middle Edge Magazine on Instagram and Facebook as well. Hit up at Another Effin' Podcast on the Facebook machine, and of course, you know where to find me at Real Izzy Presley all the way across the board. Hit that shop now button. Buy those t-shirts. You know, those great I Love Van Hagar t-shirts.
Are there fake Izzy Presleys? Did you actually have to differentiate?
Yes, there are. There are actually other Izzy Presleys. Tammy Down next week. I cannot wait. It's going to be fun. They got the brand new single that's coming out on Friday. And make sure you guys pick up the Sunbomb record. It is very, very, very good. I like it a lot. This has been Metal Edge Magazine's Another Effin' Podcast. Now I have to go watch hockey because I am so committed to this bit. I missed the beginning of the playoff game, but I love you guys, and I love you guys on the screen here, and that's what it's all about. We'll see you next week. My name is Izzy Presley, and I don't know why. All right.